Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent, and welcome to the Referral Mastermind Call. Today, we're going to be breaking things down into three parts. First, I'm going to tell you just an idea I heard I thought was pretty good and get your input on it. Where do you think it makes sense or not to get more referrals? And then number two, we're going to open up to Q&A, question and answer session where we can go through anything that you're thinking about with increasing your business and repeat and referrals. And I'll try to answer. We'll have the mastermind answer, help each other out. And then three, if we don't fill up the time with the first two, we're going to open up to any topic that you would like to talk about to benefit your real estate practice. So that's kind of how we'll structure this today. The first thing I'm going to do with you is I'm going to share an idea that we heard, that I saw come through. It's a very simple idea, but I think it's something you should consider. It's a great reason to reach out. So as you're building your repeat and referral business, your PCSOI, your past clients, a sphere of influence, trying to get more repeat and referrals from those folks, create deeper relationships with them. The question is always, how can I reach out? What do I do in my reach outs so that I don't sound like a pest, right? Because you certainly can call up once a month or once a quarter and say, hey, who are you thinking about buying? Do you know anybody thinking about buying or selling real estate in the next 90 days? Are you thinking about buying or selling real estate in the next 90 days? Who at your work or your school or your church, who do you know in your social networks who are thinking about buying or selling in the next 90 days? You will pick up business that way, but it does sometimes for a lot of people, it drones on and it becomes repetitive and it can become pestering to the other side. So you're trying to think of ways instead, a bigger picture, longer term approach people having more success with is how can I add value? How can I add value to the people I'm reaching out to? How can I build deeper relationships with them so that we'll build a better referral network? All right. And so in that vein, an idea came across I thought was a great one that you can do any time of year. And that is, this is from Kathy Ledwig, who's in our Mastermind Agent Network. And she just wrote me a simple email. I'm sure she blasted this out to all the people in her sphere. And it just says, hi, Mike. As you know, I keep a list of home professionals recommended by my clients. Do you have any plumbers, contractors, cleaners, or other home service professionals you would recommend? ? Thanks, Kathy Ledwig, your realtor for life. So it's a very, very simple email and a great way to reach out to your folks and create some interaction. You may be able to build out your vendor list with some people you hadn't thought of before, or even an industry or service provider you hadn't thought of before. You know, they may have family members that are looking for a shout out that they'd love to get a connection going. You can add to your vendor list. And if nothing else, it shows that you care about them about real estate, but not necessarily about real estate sales. And again, it's just another great touch. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that. In fact, I was just wondering if maybe I could show that. Let me see. I'm still not as proficient with all this as I should be. Hold on there. I'm going to see if I can share my screen and you guys can just see this little email. And boom. Hopefully you guys can see that. Can you see that? Give me some thumbs up if you guys can see that screen. All right, cool. So here's this. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Hopefully you can see the screen clearly. And again, it's just this simple email that came over from Kathy. And again, hi, Mike. As you know, I keep a list of home professionals recommended by my clients. Do you have any plumbers, contractors, cleaners, or other home service providers you would recommend? Thanks, Kathy. And what a great idea. I mean, what a simple message to reach out. You could do this through email or text or even a phone call. It's just a cool little reach out to the people in your sphere to let them know that you're thinking about them. You're building this list. In fact, you might add a PS. Hey, I'm happy to share my list with you. A PPS. Hey, do you need any contractors, any home service professionals to help you right now? Like I assume right now, most areas. I'm going to go ahead and knock this off there, get us back to where we were. But for instance, I'm in Colorado, and it's snowing today. It's very cold. The high today temperature is supposed to be 25 degrees. In Colorado, the weather's shifting all the time. Yesterday, we were up about 50 degrees. I was able to ride my mountain bike on the mountain. Today, it's too snowy. I can't go. But people in colder climates, if you're up in the northern part of the country, a great thing right now is to offer people the opportunity to get their furnaces checked out, right? To get their furnaces cleaned, serviced. You could do a certification or at least a service to have it cleaned out, make sure it's operating properly. You might get with your furnace contractor and ask them to do a special on that, where they're either doing it for a very low price or a percentage off the price if they use their service. And that's another message that you can offer out to your people. So if you start to think about your business this way, how can I help my people with the need that they would have currently, especially if it's a local need, it's going to help you and go further to deepen those relationships and get more repeat and referrals. All right, so that was just an idea I want to share and get us kind of started as we're getting things rolling here. I'm going to now open up for any questions that you have, any concerns you have, any thoughts you have about how to get more repeat and referrals from your friends, family, past clients, your sphere of influence. Is there anything that you either want to share as a success you've had or a challenge you've had or a question you'd like to throw at the group? Maybe you've got a new idea you want to brainstorm, etc. If you have, go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us what you're thinking, and let's share it with the group and kind of banter around, see if we can come up with any ideas with you and for you. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any ideas.
Okay, Mike.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
All right, fine. I just wanted to ask your opinion. And can you hear me all right?
I can. It's a little low, but I think I can hear you. Let's see. Can everybody else hear Bob right now? Yeah? Okay, I think we can hear you, Bob.
All right. Okay. My point is this. What I've been doing, I moved to a new area for Florida, and it's I'm going to referral program at EXP you're familiar with. But what I'm looking to do is get EXP agents and other agents. By virtue of this referral program, I can do a referral fee, 25 points with EXP, 30 with someone else. So I pull a number of basically EXP agents, and they're pretty independent. You know, they're not working under a broker or anything. And what I'm trying to do is, in talking to them, I'm looking to give them leads and buyer and seller leads basically, and have them work them, and I get points on that. And I have some sources that are not normal. Most people can't get them. They're off market leads. So I was going to do that, you know. But I was wondering what that sounded reasonable to you, to really try to stoke the fires. And down the road, if I have a good relationship with the non-EXP people, maybe I can bring them in EXP as another way of doing things. Make
Sure.
sense?
Bob, let's open that up a little bit. So let me try to define what I'm hearing. What you're looking at is creating a referral practice where you're referring business out to other agents and receiving a referral fee, either in your local market or in other markets across the country. You've added a spin in that you work for, you're with EXP, and that you may do agent attraction with that. Let's put that aside for a minute, and let's talk about this core concept that anybody can do in any brokerage. And that is, hey, I've got this, I want to run a business where I'm based on referrals where I'm handing off my business to other agents. So we've all done referrals where we're going to refer somebody maybe to another city or another state. But this is an idea of, hey, let's say I'm retired or I don't want to run around anymore. I've got agents I know who can't run around anymore because of either vision or a physical issue or a health issue, but they still have time and they want to reach out to their spheres and generate leads, or as you mentioned, generate leads from an independent source. Maybe they love lead generation, but they don't want to run around in the field anymore. I think this is a really interesting topic because there are a lot of people that are in this position. And so let's try to redefine your question that way. It will help you with your concept, but it'll help others as well if they're trying to hash out any ideas there. And so the first question is it viable? And the answer is yes, there are people doing it. In fact, there are companies doing it, aren't there? Zillows of the world and Ojos and OpCity and so forth, where they're doing lead generation of some type and they're handing it off for a referral fee. So this is absolutely a model that is working in the real estate industry currently beyond your own sphere. Now, your own sphere handing out as a referral is incredibly powerful because you have that connection. And when you start to hand off a referral from a piece of business that's not connected to you through your PCSOI, your past clients' sphere of influence, it adds another layer because you've got to disclose to the agent that, hey, these are people that I just generated as a lead and they're in this stage of qualification, as opposed to, hey, this is my friend John, who I've known for 20 years, and he wants to buy or sell a house. So there's a couple different ways to look at that, Bob. And what I'd like to do is we've got some people here today with us. I'd like to open this discussion up because I think, again, it has a lot of validity. It's something I've actually been looking at recently as well. So here's the question to everybody. Do you have any thoughts on developing a referral-based practice where you're not actually doing any running around in the field anymore? You're handing off leads locally and or handing off leads, of course, nationally or beyond your borders. Anybody have any thoughts on that would help Bob and I kind of hash this out? Have you done it? Have you thought about it? Have you heard of people doing it? What do you got there? Again, this is an open session, open dialogue. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking. All right. Well, if you guys think of anything, don't be shy. Go ahead and just unmute yourself and speak up. I'm a D personality. It does not offend me at all when you jump into the conversation. In fact, I kind of like it. So, Bob, tell us more about what you're thinking about in your method of generating these leads and or handing them off.
Yeah, well, I know in my past, in being involved with the typical, before there was a lot of social media, I worked for a number of brokers who had no idea about how that worked, So their whole thing was, you go after it expires, okay, and maybe for sale by owners, but that was light too. So, I got involved with that, but now I got to believe when I see that I've been with a couple of companies and different companies, different brokerages, and I can see there wasn't a lot of hard charging hunters out there, There was not a lot of that. And so I'd like to augment, competitive real. I just moved to Stuart, Florida, and there's different realtors here, the major players we know of, plus independent exit people. So I've been calling them up and talking to them, and right away they're like, "Oh, you're trying to run our business?" And I'm saying, "No, I'm not trying to run. I'm trying to give you leads." In my background in sales and sales management before I was in realty, I can assist you in helping these people that are not canvassing right now. I'd be willing to hold meetings to get them up to speed on it and then give them leads. And that's where I'm going to kind of approach it, because, they give people leads and they're not going to follow up, or they don't know how to overcome objections and stuff like that. So kind of a service. So I got to start it small, get some successes, and then move ahead with it. But I believe in this market especially, we have a lot of people moving here in Florida from around the country, as you know, and particularly parts of Florida. And this is one of them, Port St. Lucie, Stewart, Jupiter. So I'm talking to some of the exit people, the EXP people, and one seems amenable, and that I'm really getting some good sources. So what I'm doing, I get a little elaborate here, but what I'm looking to do is not just give them a lead, but kind of follow up with the lead, qualify it a bit. And then I got a financial guy who I spoke to yesterday and said, hey, I may have some, and I'm advertising Facebook and Marketplace. I'm just starting to do that. I'm not that good at it, but I'm starting to do that and saying, you're tired of renting, give me a call. Maybe we can get you qualified to buy a home in the range of homes that are being sold here. So use him as I'll qualify and use him as a and he's looking for leads too. He's looking to qualify people for mortgages. And once it's in the qualified state, then I kind of go to the other realtor and say, this is where we're at with it. I spoke to a guy this morning. He says, yeah, I'm interested in possibly selling my house. It all depends on the market. So I basically was handing him over to my that's a buying guy. This is a selling guy. So after I talked to him a little bit more, I'd hand him off to a broker / realtor to see if he wants to follow up with him, and I get my 2.5 or 3%, 3 points off it. 3%, not points. Yeah, that's one example. The other one is giving the buy when I get buyers. Getting all these buyers come in. I qualify them, make sure their monthly. I'm saying we can change your monthly cost to get you into a mortgage and buy a home. So I can make sure. I got a guy today. I have $600. That's not going to buy much of a home in any market, So I got to go through that fluff. But I think it's, I've done a lot of marketing in the past, and I think it could be a good concept, especially with EXP. After these people see how I work, I refer them within EXP to the world and all that stuff. Get them amenable to coming on board.
I think this is interesting, Bob. And again, I'm going to keep it generic because the concept it applies to anyone, anywhere. Couple quick thoughts I have. Number one, you got this guy who's got $600 a month in payments. Well, a simple solution I just thought of, or was popped in my mind, was combine them with someone else. So find somebody else who has 600 to combine. Now they got 1,200, right? Maybe they can be roommates. You put 3 of those people in a house. Now they're at $1,800 a month. In fact, that's how my wife bought her first house. She partnered up with her sister and bought a house. People do that. They've been doing it a long time. So just an idea, just kind of through by. Let's talk about the bigger picture of the idea, though. And that is, if you're going to build a referral-based practice where you're handing off referrals to other agents and you're earning referral income, talk about the quality of the lead. Okay, the lead goes through a life cycle, right? They come in, they're just kind of thinking that kicking tires and trying to have an idea. All the way through, they actually get pre-qualified, as you mentioned, and they start to get more serious. They start looking at homes. They start doing showings. They make offers. They're moving all the way through, and then they get to a contract, and they go through all that, and they get to a closing. So the further along down the line they are, the more valuable they are, right? So let's go back towards the beginning. Anybody today can go buy leads from the internet, and or learn how to generate leads from the internet. And those are raw leads. And those are raw internet leads. They typically have a conversion rate of around 1%, which always makes me laugh. Made Mike Ferry laugh with this one idea that I had. But years ago, when I first started 30 years ago, we would call out of the phone book cold leads, and the cold leads closed at 1%. So these raw internet leads are closing the same thing as a cold lead out of the phone book. At 1%. That's fine, but you got to know that's the source, that's what it is. Now, most agents would prefer not to do the next step, which is, I got the raw lead, but I can't convert it to an appointment, right? I can't convert it qualify it and convert it to the next step, which is, hey, I'm sitting down, I'm talking to a buyer who has some seriousness, has some qualification, wants to go start looking at homes, or I'm talking to a seller who has serious intent to sell. They're motivated, they're able to, their mortgage is not bigger than the value of their house. They can actually do something. And so you're setting up a listing appointment, or you're setting up a buyer consultation or a buyer showing. If you can get a lead that far down the line, now they become a lot more valuable to the agent who's receiving them, right? In the first case, they might pay a couple bucks out of their pocket for those raw leads, which they do today, or they might pay a low referral fee. But if you can get to them to the point where they're doing an appointment, now I think most agents on this call and most agents around the world would say, I pay a lot more for that. I pay 20, 30, 40, 50% for that. I don't know what the number is. I know that there are companies out there that are charging 35 and 40% as they're getting closer to that idea of the appointment is being set, as opposed to the raw lead. So Bob, you and I have chatted a bit in the past. You have some skills for agents who have skills. And again, I'm thinking of someone who's, say, homebound, who still wants to be in the game. They don't want to run people around, but they love the game and they love talking to people and helping them follow through the process. But then you're thinking the business cycle, what does it mean? It means you're taking someone who's ready to go to an appointment, and that's kind of where the introduction is happening versus a raw lead or a cold lead, which it has less value. So I'm just throwing these things out and this idea out. If you're trying to set up a referral-based practice where you're basically creating a mini Zillow, or you're creating a mini Ojo or OpCity or Houselight. I know there's a bunch of different ones out there where they're basically offering or trying to earn a referral fee as opposed to a cash payment per lead. That seems to be a model that's getting some grip. And I don't know why you couldn't consider doing that locally. The reason it would be a benefit to local agents is you're a local agent and you know the market well. You know what's happening there, and you know the people there. So that might be something to be very interesting. Again, you can do it out of your own PCSOI, which already is a higher quality lead because you know that there's people, you have the relationship with them. But you can also maybe do it out of a cold lead source that Bob was talking about, say with Facebook leads, or I don't know, however, Google leads, however you're generating your leads. I'll just leave it open like that. They're coming off your website or a sign call or something, and you're generating these leads, and you're qualifying them up to hand them off. It's basically, I'll throw you another concept out there. It's like a quasi team, right? It's kind of the benefits of being on a team without being on a team. That'd be the benefit of the agent receiving the referral, is they're getting this kind of prepped, qualified, pre-client person into their life without having to be on a team and being obligated to, say, provide or split all of their business with the team. So that's kind of an advantage to an agent who just needs a couple extra deals a year, a month or a year. So I'm kind of looking at it from the other perspective. What's the advantage to them? I think you have a model there that you can keep toying with. And again, you're adding the other dynamic of recruitment and so forth, and that's fine. But to me, that's secondary. I think what you need to focus on is the business model of this referral model, right? Can you create a referral model that is creating true value to people? And the true value for an agent is to move that client along the spectrum of qualification as close as possible to the point of writing a contract, right? A buy contract or a sell contract. And then one step back from that is hiring the agent, either hiring them as a buyer's agent or hiring them as a seller's agent. As close as you can get to that point, the more value your business model has, and it becomes the distinction between what you're providing and what your competitors are providing. And again, in this model, what I would visualize as your competitors are, I've mentioned a couple of times now, but Zillow, OpCity, Realtor.com, which I think is OpCity. And anyway, these models, they're already out there, where what they're doing is some kind of qualification at a handoff, and you got to stand in line. That'd be another advantage to your model, possibly, is instead of having to compete with 28 different agents for this one potential maybe lead buyer, they kind of hold up and everybody kind of goes at it like shark bait. Instead of doing that, maybe you actually have an exclusive agreement with these folks to help them out in, say, a certain market, a certain part of your city, a certain zip code, for either someone, again, selling or buying. Again, we're just spitballing here, everyone. I hope this is helpful. Just kind of have an idea worth bouncing around. If anybody's got any idea, any input you'd have on this idea of creating this referral model, feel free to unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking.
If I could add.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, one of the advantages is I have a, you have the typical for sale by owners, the expires also. I have a system that provides me through a title company, national title company. It gives me actual leads geographically around. I have it in Florida right now. I could go national with it, but it literally will give it to me by virtue of how can you say how motivated they are. If they're pre-foreclosure, if they're all these different categories, which will make them more motivated. So my point is, I'm taking the motivated ones out that are a certain price range for the home, okay? And then I'm just starting it actually, like texting them. I like to call them first, and then text them, and essentially say, "Would you be willing to sell your home if we could bring you offer, and market value offers, not offer, but offers." And I just got a call from one guy. He said, "Well, I just want to see what offers range you're talking about." So I'll be doing a lot of the work up front, but it's already, these guys are, I know the categories they're in at least. That's the advantage I have, instead of taking something off Zillow or something off the internet, that type of thing.
Think about, Bob, as you're trying to put this together in your head, think about the benefits of running a team and why somebody would join a team. If you were going to start a team, why would somebody want to join your team? And the typical answer is lead generation, lead conversion on the front end, and then on the back end, transaction management. And then, of course, culture and other things that come along and the systems that are already established to do that. But the most valuable thing has always been the lead generation, lead conversion, because most agents, if they've been around any amount of time, they're good once they get a client. In fact, I hear that all the time for agents. Look, I'm really good when I get the client, right? If I get them in my car, we're gold. We're gonna have a great time together. We're going all the way to closing. That's for the buyer. And they say, hey, if I get in front of a seller at their house on a listing presentation, I'm going to knock their socks off. They're going to love me. We're going to do a great job. I'm going to show them all the details. We're going to have a great marketing plan. We're going to get that house on the market, under contract, and closed. Everything's going to go smooth. I know how to do the business, right? There are a lot of agents out there. They know how to do the business. They just need more business in the front end. So that's why I say, kind of think of it as a quasi-team arrangement. It's not an official team. It's just, what are the benefits of a team without being on a team? Right. I think if you think about it in those pictures and those concepts, it'll help you define what you're doing. And you're already starting to walk that line, I think, a little bit. You're talking about the FSBOs and expireds on the sell side. You're willing to go out there and make initial contact. You're willing to go out there and answer objections. You're willing to go out there and get the conversation started. Well, where's that going? That's going towards a listing appointment, right? So if you could set up listing appointments for agents to walk in and meet with the for sell by owner or the expired, again, I think most agents here would say that is value. I don't know how much, but that is worth something. And some agents who are scared of the phone or scared of these initial contacts, it's worth a lot. To other agents who do it all the time, it might be worth it to add a couple extra transactions, so they still have value. But I don't know, we could take an informal survey if anybody thinks that this idea has any legs. Anybody have any comments or thoughts? Does this idea make any sense? Would this be something you'd be interested in, or you think other agents would? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Let us know what you're thinking. All right, Bob, we're hashing this out together, buddy.
Another question I had: when you talk about getting the agents who want to hang their license somewhere and keep it active, but not going through the throes of the everyday business, is there a good place to find those guys or gals per se? I mean,
so the market shift is causing a lot of people to reevaluate what they're doing. I think a lot of people are open to different models right now because they want to get a good grip and moving forward. People don't like when the ground is shifting a lot. So there are people who've been in the business, X amount of years, who are probably considering it either because of their age or because they've been doing it a long time and they want to do something different. Or they got in, it just wasn't what they expected. There are going to be a lot of people in the spectrum of this where they're like, I'd like to be, quote, a referral agent. I know the problem with the word referral is it covers a lot of bases. But another way to say it is a referral only, although, again, that's been kind of co-opted over the years. But a referral only brokerage are models that cater to these people who want to just hand out referrals, say, out of the sphere. Now, we've added another layer of to the model, which is this idea of taking not just your PCSOI database for referrals, but also coming off of cold leads or another lead source. Running the front, and another way to think about it is you're running kind of the front end of the model for people that are active in the business who want to do more closings, are happy to run buyers around and happy to go out on listing appointments. That's what gets their juices flowing. That's what they really like doing. And maybe you either, again, lost that desire or, you've done it enough times. Like, I listed 21 homes in 30 days. After that, you kind of know how to do it, right? So you maybe want to do something else as a challenge. I'm trying to just spitball ideas of where you could find these people. It's more the kind of person, not where they are. You got to reach out to them with the message of what. All right, so let me reduce this down, Bob. You got to come out with a 1-sentence or 2-sentence thing about what it is that you're offering, and then put it out there, right? That becomes your headline to your ad, maybe your sub headline. Hey, are you an agent who's looking for a couple extra deals each month? I'll find them, I'll qualify them, and I'll hand them off to you. If you're interested, let me know. Call this number, email this number, etc. Right? So that was kind of a quick synopsis. You need to have a quick 10-second elevator speech, a quick way to, you're good at this, Bob. I know you've been around sales a long time. You just got to come up with a quick idea that encapsulates what you're offering. Would you like to receive pre-qualified leads from me that I can hand off? Or depending on what your model is, would you like me to set up appointments for you with qualified buyers and sellers? If so, let's talk, right? That'd be kind of the front end of your offer. And then you explain how it works and what exactly you're going to do, what exactly you expect them to do, and what the compensation would be between you. In this case, a referral fee, and at what percent. Hey, that makes sense, Bob?
Most definitely. And one other area that that I think I was trying to get involved with, especially when I was down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, was these major condominium resort style complexes. And they have a sales staff there, but they bring realtors in, and they'll go like 4 to 6% commission on pre-construction and stuff like that. And I have a lot of contacts in that environment from South Florida. I don't have to be there. I can get a hold of, related corporation, stuff like that. And that I could refer out, I believe. And
you're bringing out the beauty of the model, right? And that is you can do it from anywhere.
yeah.
Right. We've known that for a long time. We can hand a referral across the country out of our sphere. That's pretty easy. Now the question comes, hey, can I hand out referrals, say, across my state? You're in Florida, you're talking about different parts of your state where you can't drive over there and help the buyer or seller. Can you refer it out to another agent down there? And the answer, of course, is absolutely. Now, there may become issues where you're going across the border, like you're in Florida and you got somebody in Georgia. And the question is, how much of that work can you do before you have to be licensed in Georgia, right? So handing off a referral, that's been established. Thank you, realtors, for establishing that way back and having us a little loophole in the rules of RESPA as far as just handing off a true referral. Now, if we're doing the model we're talking about where you're building up, you're qualifying, you're finding, you're kind of working through the quality of this lead before you hand it off, that may get a little stickier per state in their rules if it's not in your state that you're licensed in. So I caution you that you better get an attorney involved or a broker involved to hash out any legal issues with the quality of that lead. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Well, this is kind of an interesting idea. It was kind of fun to bounce around. Bob, thanks for bringing it to us. I can't wait to hear how you develop it. Be sure to come back and let us know. Let's do this. Let's open it up to, because we're kind of eating up a bunch of time, but we have a little time left. Anybody else have any other ideas you'd like us to talk about on either how to get more repeat and referrals? Again, ideas you'd like us to bounce around, or any other part of your practice that you would like some help with. Go ahead, unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking. Got a shy group today. That's all right. I've been there. I get it. But if you have any ideas, this is the time to do it because we're all here and we're willing to help. I know a lot of people on this call are good helpers. They got a lot of good ideas. So if you got anything you'd like to share, you like us to bounce around, go ahead and bring it up now. Any again, any ideas that you have, any marketing you're doing, prospecting you plans you have, any ways you're trying to deal with this shifting market, any plans you have for your new market coming up in the new year, right? We're here just about to start December. We're in the end of November. Any ideas you want us to bounce off or you want us to hear about on your business plan and the things you're thinking of doing to add business or create business? This is a time we could open up and chat about that. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know what you think. Again, feel free to jump in at any time. I'll let you know this time of year, as you all know, I've talked to a lot of the top agents around the country, over 200, it's 225 or something. And then also, those are top teams. And then I've also talked to top solo agents, probably about 50 to 75 of those folks who are doing amazing numbers as solos. And what's interesting is that all of them right now are making their plans for next year. Every November, December, they start to evaluate what worked this last year and what am I planning on doing moving forward. And typically what it comes down to, by the way, is, hey, I did these 5 things to try to generate business. And I know that these 2 are generating most of my business, and these other 3, they didn't work out as well. The best way to double your business or increase your business is to look at those top 2 and see if you can do more of that. Is there any way to do more of that? So usually it's repeat and referral. So in order to do more repeat and referral, for instance, you need to either increase the number of people in your sphere, maybe go join more social groups and networking groups to try to increase your sphere. Have more closings. That automatically adds to the PCSOI, right? But there's a limit there. The next thing you can do, though, is figure out ways to increase your percentage of the people in the group that send you repeating referrals. So if you can go from 5% to 10% of the people in the group referring you, you've doubled your business, right? If you can go from 10% to 20, you doubled again. And that's, by the way, how a lot of people can double their business and get really large. Now, I just know that there's a limit to what percentage of your list will send you repeating referrals. Some people think it's low, but I happen to know from talking to all these top agents are around 20%. Now that you have to really be good to get that high, but that's the limit. So if you're at 3%, you can double. If you're at 5%, you can double. 7%, you can double. Anything under 10, you can double. And if you're even over 10, you can at least add quite a bit, all the way up to 20%. So you can get more efficient with your list to increase your business. You can increase the size of your list to get more business. So keep that in mind. Let's say you've got other types of sources of business. Say Bob was talking about FSBOs or expireds. Like expireds, by the way, if you're any good at expireds, there have been in the past, go pull that up, whatever system you were doing, and brush it off and start practicing, because in about 30 days, December 31st, you're going to have a big flow of expireds hitting the market, because of this market shift and things changing and agents not being strong enough to deal with their sellers or not knowing what to do. You're going to have a bunch of expireds hit on December 31st. So brush that off if you're good at that and start getting ready. Go to work on January 1 in the morning, pull up all those expireds. It's going to be a ton of them, and you want to be the first one to go jump in. I think I looked it up for somebody the other day. It's going to be a Sunday. So I would go work that morning, Sunday morning, real early. It's going to be very profitable for the people that do that. They're going to have a great start to 2023. And if you're good with FSBOs, figure that out, right? Because they're pretty lonely right now. Anything that was your number 2, go figure out, can I expand this and generate more business from it? That's the way that they look at their business model, but you had to track what happened in the past. So if you haven't tracked, you got to go back and figure out how many closings do I have and where did they come from? What was the source of that business? And then therefore you can project forward. And then you got to look at the bottom 3 in my example, right? 1 and 2 were awesome. The bottom 3, you're going to have to make a decision. Do I pursue any of these 3? Do I cut them out and save the money? Maybe save the money and reinvest it in my top 2, which, by the way, I like the best. And if you're good, you don't keep all 3. At least kill 2, and then invest in the one that has the most promise. As a solo agent, you really don't want more than 3 sources of business. In fact, to me, whenever you can niche in, you're going to do way better. Like the top solos, they're my favorite example. The top solo agents, they get the majority of the vast majority of their business, 70, 80% of their business, sometimes 90% is coming from repeat and referral. And they are closing a lot of business. 40, 50, 60 closings a year, 70, 80, 90. I just talked to 2 agents here. They had 80 per year. You got agents selling even over 100 homes a year. I know that's mind-blowing. As a solo agent, and the reason is they narrow the niche and they focus exclusively on this repeat and referral, and then they pick up a couple other side pieces of business. But they don't try to go blasting out to 500 different things and hope something's going to work. Never helps. Our eyes are in the forward of our head. We have to look at what we're focused on. We can only really focus on one thing at a time. If our eyes were this way, maybe we could do 2 things at a time. So my recommendation, look at your list, take the top 1 or 2, double down on those, and really focus and narrow, and get rid of the bottom group. They're not doing you any good except wasting your time typically, and often money as well. That's my advice. right now is the good time to do any business planning for the upcoming year. We got about 10 minutes left of the call. Does anybody want us to talk about their business plan for the upcoming year? If you do, unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking. All right. If you have anything you want us to chat about as we wrap up this call, now's your last opportunity. Unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking. All right. Well, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to wrap this up. Bob, thank you for your contributions to our call today and willingness to kind of throw ideas out there and bounce them around. Hopefully, y'all got a little value out of this call and found something useful. We do record the call, and assuming it did get recorded and we're able to get it edited and cleaned up, we don't do a heavy edit. We just kind of cut the ends. We'll be putting that up on YouTube and also in the Facebook group. So on YouTube, you can find it at Mastermind Agent Network. And then in the Facebook group, that's the Referral Mastermind Call group. This recording should be up by maybe the end of the day or tomorrow. We try to do it within 48 hours. And we do these calls every Tuesday. And again, I'm just trying to give back and help people. So bring your questions. If you're bump into challenges or issues over the week, write them down, then come to the call, bring them out, and we'll see if we can't hash through them and see if we can't come up with some ideas for you. But again, I appreciate your time today and hope this was helpful. Have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye now.